Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Yes, Man United have won the game. Two penalties won by Garnacho. The kid has won the two penalties and scored by Bruno and Rashford. Two comfortable penalties in a fairly typically boring game. That's the positives. Man United, we won the game at home 2-0. Those are the positives out of the way. The negatives. On this channel, we assess and we review and analyze the performance. And as usual, today, I fell asleep. Today. It was a very boring performance. We essentially saw Manchester United counter-attacking at home against a relegation team, Everton. The performance, I mean, if you are happy with the win, yes, be happy with the win. We should be. That's the whole point. But for us to sit here for 2 hours and watch that as a 90-minute performance, for me, the manager has to go at the end of the season, for me. I mean, the penalties, even the fact that we relied on penalties to win this game, we didn't really create too many chances. And in fact, in the game, Everton had more chances. Everton had the territorial advantage when it came to possession. And there's a lot for us to talk about today. I'm not going to make this video a long video because at the end of the day, this performance today resembled many of our other performances this season already. So I'm going to be repeating a lot that I've said with regards to how slowly we move the ball. And yes, we have a lot of intent, but we don't know how to keep possession because the manager has not created a team, has not formed a team that is able to keep possession, that's able to rotate the ball. We know how to counter-attack. We know how to attack at pace, and that's it. That's it. So to see us today against an Everton team that I expected to dominate, I expect us to dominate the ball, dominate possession. I expect to see flair, movement, quick passing, clean passing, shape. I didn't see any of that. And if it wasn't for Garnacho winning those penalties, the game could have ended 0-0. And speaking of Garnacho, I will say this. You can win those two penalties, right? Like he did, and still not have a good game. Garnacho was not good today. He wasn't. None of the forwards were really that good. And I'm struggling to understand why the manager, even against an Everton team fighting for relegation, why he won't start with a striker. Why he won't play a forward. Why he won't play a striker. Why he's still crowding the midfield. Why he's still playing 4 central midfielders in this team. There's a lot for us to talk about. I'm not going to spend too long today. As usual, guys, before we get into the weeds, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a smoke, whatever you're doing. Chill out, relax. This is the post-match debrief. Welcome back. I hope you've had a good week, a good day. Like I said, as a United fan, we're happy today because we won, and we want to finish in top 4, but we want to start seeing something from this manager that's more than quick transition, heavy metal football. We want to see some quality. So let's get into it. Like I said, if you're not... For me, in terms of the lineup, the manager keeps... I feel like he's found a lineup that he's comfortable with that doesn't include Højlund for the time being. And that is that 4 midfielders. He's playing Casemiro and Mainu as the base. Bruno and Scott as what seems to be the runners. The guys who are almost number 10s that trade places. Sometimes Bruno's up front. Sometimes Scott is up front. I've seen Rashford play up front as well. I've seen Garnacho cutting field. When we're counter-attacking, Bruno and Scott could drop deep, while Rashford and Garnacho are essentially, they come in as our main two strikers when we're counter-attacking. So I see the fluidity in the formation when we're attacking, but the fact that we're playing essentially without a striker, and the fact that we're playing essentially with 4 midfielders, and still Everton are creating the amount of chances they're creating, and there still seems to be a hole in our midfield. Even though we're playing with 4 central midfielders, I think that is a concern. The first 5 minutes for me of the game, Everton were winning the ball back very quickly in our midfield. I know the commentator mentioned Casemiro's name a few times, and it wasn't just Casemiro giving the ball away. All the team were giving the ball away. The first 5 minutes, I thought to myself, Everton could win this game. Everton, if they make the right pass, if they have the necessary quality in the final third, they could do something in this game. Because we didn't start well at all. Everton had a better start, and they had a few attacks, and we were on the back foot. So the penalty around 10 minutes came completely against a natural run of play. It did. And the ball fell to Garnacho. The run Garnacho made wasn't even the best run in the world. And the foul itself from Everton, the defender didn't need to make the tackle at all. So while, yes, Garnacho won the penalty, for me, Everton would feel very, very disappointed in the fact that they conceded that first goal. Because the challenge did not need to be made at all. And we were just gifted. We were gifted that goal against the run of play. Bruno stepped up and Bruno slotted it to the keeper's left. Great penalty. I didn't really have any doubts that Bruno was going to miss. Bruno often scores. He doesn't always score, but he usually does score. But like I said, it was against the run of play, and I don't think the tackle needed to be made. It was weird. First 20 minutes, United didn't really create any chances. We scored a penalty, but it was still Everton attacking, Everton having the territorial advantage. Our passing was still sloppy. We're giving the ball away easily. Not just our midfielders, but our attackers as well. Giving the ball away. Playing this transition football where we don't know how to just keep the ball and just rotate it when a pass is not on. That's not what we do at United. So like I said, Everton were just creating more of the opportunities, and United's high line, when we had the ball, played well for Everton in terms of they had space to counter-attack. And apart from our fullbacks, and not including Lindelof, when I say fullbacks, I really just mean Dallo, our back four isn't the quickest. So I was expecting Everton to utilise United's high line a bit more than they did in the first half. So Everton they had the territorial advantage, but they just didn't have the cutting edge in the final third today. And we've seen what happens when a team faces United with cutting edge. We lose. But, the game, the first half went on, and it continued around the same pattern. United trying to counter-attack, playing like the away team against Everton. And once again, United, towards the end of the first half, 35 minutes, won a penalty. Almost a similar way, Garnacho making a run on the right, cutting in. And once again, I will have to say this, Everton should feel a bit disappointed, because I don't think the challenge had to be made. It wasn't as if Garnacho was doing step-overs and was doing a bit of skill and, or anything like that. It was just a stupid challenge. So, as far as I'm concerned, even though Everton had the better chances in the first half, you could argue, had the territorial advantage in the first half, you could argue, all it took was 2 mistakes and we scored the 2 goals. And apart from the 2 penalties, because, Rashford slotted it away, and I'm glad Rashford is getting on the score sheet, because even though, for me, I've said this many times, Rashford isn't the guy for me. He isn't him. He isn't the guy that everybody wants him or thinks he is. We still need him to be scoring. We still need him to be performing well. So I'm glad he scored a penalty. I'm kind of glad Bruno gave the penalty to him. But my point is, apart from the penalties that we scored, United didn't really do anything in the first half. Didn't really create a chance. And Everton, I think, worked onana a lot more than we worked their goalkeeper. Second half, it didn't really change the second half. We still saw a United team slopping in possession, not really keeping the ball well. Everton trying to utilise the spacing that we left behind when we attacked. We tried to get back into shape as quickly as possible when Everton counter-attack. And even though, like I said, Everton had a few opportunities to score, they just weren't clinical enough. They just don't have that cutting edge. And in the second half, we didn't really either. I think Garnacho had 2 or 3 chances in the second half to score, and he fluffed his lines. And it was just a sloppy game to watch. 2 teams that lacked quality, direction, and yeah, it just wasn't a good game to watch from my perspective. Obviously, as a United fan, I'm happy that we won the game, but for me, there's nothing else really to analyse in the second half, to be honest. Like I said, Garnacho had a few chances, but he was sloppy. He gave the ball away a lot. So the point I made in the intro with regards to Garnacho is this. I think he's a young player. I think he's got a good future. I think we've put him in a position where he's one of the leading players already. Leading attackers in a team already, and he's only, I think, in his early 20s. And I think we're going to do the same thing we did with Rashford, where we're going to put him in a position where he hasn't worked or he hasn't earned yet. And we're going to position him as a world-class talent when he's not a world-class talent. And I think it will go against him. I think eventually the expectations, we're going to set false expectations on this guy. And I just want people to understand what sort of player he is. Let him continue to develop. But I just feel like the United fans need a new hero, and they've already chosen him as some sort of hero. Just be patient with this guy. Like, Garnacho might not turn out to be that player, and be prepared for that eventuality if it happens, you know. That's all I would say. I don't think he had a good game, and I know he was given the man of the match, but he didn't really have a good game. And in fact, I'm not going to pick on Garnacho. Our forwards in general didn't have a good game. Scott McTominay didn't have a good game. I don't think I noticed him. Apart from that overhit ball, that simple pass he could have played for Rashford and he overhit it. Bruno was just doing Bruno, was being Bruno. And apart from, I think, for me, the man of the match today was Dalot. Dalot, so far this season, has been United's most consistent footballer. Today, he had a good game. Not his best game. I don't think any United... I think even Kobe today, Kobe Mainoo, who usually has a quite a good game. He moves the ball, he moves position, gets the ball, passes it, moves. Gets the ball, passes it, moves. Kobe plays a quite simple but effective game. But even today, he had a bit of problems. And Casemiro, while he won the ball a lot, he closed down a lot of Everton's attacks. He also gave the ball away today. So I don't really remember many players today having a really good game for United. Onana made some decent saves. He didn't really do anything wrong. And like I said, Dalot, for me, probably just stood out. Just about stood out. So all in all, my summary is it wasn't a good game to watch from my perspective. But we won. And I guess that's the main thing. So that's my look at the game. That's my outlook, my analysis of the game, my review of it. I've told you who my man of the match was. Who was your man of the match? Give me some feedback. How did you find the game? You know, what's your opinion on this manager? Is he going to last the season? Or the rest of the season? Will he still be the manager next season? That's the question. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, on the game. Let me know who was your man of the match. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. have a good week, have a good day, and onwards and upwards, I guess. Next game. I'm hoping to see better football by the end of the season. I don't think I can keep spending 2 hours of my time watching this crap. So yeah, peace out.
If you're not ready